need to lower the AC. So, Chuck, I think your name is, you wanted to know if I was completely healed from Ed, and for a while I didn't know how to answer that because, again, I never really went to my therapist and I told her about my Ed, but I never went to a psychologist, and told her everything that I'm going through, because I know it came from other stuff. If I healed that stuff that led me there, it would bring me back to normal. That's what I thought, and for the most part it's helped, but I still have those thoughts. I'm sorry if I'm lisping even worse. I have my Invisalign in, but yeah, I think I'd say I'm 75%, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what the right, I'm not a psychologist, or a therapist, so I don't know if I am, but I would say 75% just because I feel like I've come a long way, and I don't cry when I eat mayonnaise, I told myself I would never again have mayonnaise on any food because it was just an added calorie, and now it's like I don't care and I want to add it just kind of like. And the thing is, the reason I say it's 75% is because I still think about it, it still haunts me. It's still like, I shouldn't be having this. I know I shouldn't be having this, but I also know it's not illegal and bad to have mayonnaise on your sandwich, or just add-ons that have calories on them. And also cheese. I remember I would completely cut out cheese, and that's all I wanted to have on my, I even wanted to eat a whole block of cheese and the thing is, I never cared about cheese. I actually didn't like cheese. It made me nauseous, and I'm going back to that where it's I can eat cheese, but it can make me nauseous, and that's the only reason I won't eat it. But I still have those thoughts, and sometimes I think about it, it makes me sad because food will never just be food, I feel like, but I will never be that sick to the point where I cry over having a normal meal, or even not even a normal meal, any kind of calorie. So that's what I think it is. I'm not sure, I don't know the actual, I never took an assessment or anything like that to know, how good I am, but I would say it's 75. I do still, if I'm sad, or if I let it get to me, I start to restrict, but then I will start to fight it, and I'll be like, no, I can't do this, and I justify it by I'm doing stuff, I'm trying to live. I don't want to live revolving around how I shouldn't eat. I want other problems, and that's why I keep getting rid of that every time it sneaks up on me. I know that if I surrounded myself with shitty people and I let them get to me, and I didn't have a therapist, or I didn't have anybody I could talk to, I have you guys, and that's made the biggest difference, I would go back to that, and that's the scary thing. If only people knew how important it is to be around healthy people, because it has made the biggest difference. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't get messages, you'd be surprised, but when I used to restrict, and I would make vlogs about oh, I'm restricting, this sucks, you'd be surprised how many people actually would comment on how I didn't look sick, and how that much more than now. Now I feel like majority of everybody listening are nicer about it, or understand where I'm coming from, so none of those comments are seen, because I'm very I think anybody with an Ed are pretty sensitive, because again, I don't believe in expecting the world to cater to you and in your like illness is a good realistic way to live, because it's not realistic. But when people know you have a problem and are actually like going out of their way to say this stuff to you, then it's really messed up, you know? Like, I remember people would say, oh, like, she doesn't even look that sick. Like, I look pretty sick, and I'm not, like, making videos about it or whatever. But it's like I was craving somebody to understand me, not try to, like, compete with me. And hopefully I never see those again, because it really did affect me. It really led me down the worst path. And now it's like, it also helps me being around people. You know how you would avoid people if every time they'd eat or whatever, or you'd have to come up with excuses? Now I try to be involved with people that eat, especially like, it's weird because it all works out. My old job, I never ate there with the people that, like, during lunch. Just give me a sec here. I have to hurry. So yeah, like my old job, I was surrounded by people that didn't speak English around me. Like, most of them didn't really understand English, so I was kind of isolated, and I sat alone. Everybody else sat, you know, among their friends or whatever. And at the time, even when somebody was in the same lunch as me that spoke English, my supervisor, she wouldn't let people near me. Like, she kind of like wanted me isolated. I don't know why, but she wanted me isolated. Every time I like got along with somebody, she'd make weird comments and make me uncomfortable, to the point where I didn't want them to speak to me, because then I'd be embarrassed in front of everybody, you know? So I pretty much stayed alone, or I'd go to my car, and that helped Ed take control, basically, because I wasn't around everybody eating and I didn't feel the need. Now that I work at a new place where my supervisors cannot be eating lunch with us, or supposedly, I eat with a bunch of coworker friends, and they're all eating. Even my friend Lou, she eats with us 2 times of the week, I think, because I only see her 2 days of the week. And it encourages me to want to like eat what they're eating, or, you know, eat like the right amount of food, and that has helped me like get better at it. But I do have those thoughts still, and it just sucks to know that it's gonna be a long struggle, you know. But I really don't ever want to go back to that. I keep thinking, like, every time I start, like, my restriction thoughts start up again, I start to think back of how much I hated my life back then. It all felt so gray and so bad, and I don't want to do it. I never want to do that again. And it's really hard, because like I feel the weight gain, and like I feel the difference, and like I hate it. But then I'm like, you're supposed to be this weight, like nobody looks like, you know, like magazines and social media. That's why I really like those videos where they talk about how people actually really look. They show like the filtered and then the non-filtered. Like, even people that bodies are so sought after, like the Kardashians and all of them, it's all unrealistic, and even for them to achieve. So I like to surround myself with stuff like that, because I have to snap out of it all the time. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't mind answering questions like that, by the way. So if you have any ed questions, the only problem, like, I've been wanting to do a video for a long time about like my ed habits, but I really don't think that's gonna help. I think it could encourage people to like do the wrong thing, so I'm not gonna do it, because I just think back of all the stupid shit I used to do, and I'm like, wow, that's really messed up. But it wouldn't help anybody at all, so that's why I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, if you can think of any ed related things, you can tell me in the comments, and I can make a video. because I'm okay with talking about this. It's not something I want to just like brush under the mat or whatever. And I feel like if less of us feel like the need to hide our mental disorder, there'll be like more people accepting it and becoming like it's weird because it's like more accepting and less denying and more trying to find help, if that makes sense. It's weird to have a problem but like being aware of the problem too. Like I know when I start avoiding certain foods, like if I start avoiding bread, I know it's like starting up again. So it's like I'm aware, but I'm also like, it's also still kind of active. It's weird. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. On a different random note, my mom cleaned out this trash and she told me it had a hole, and from that hole a maggot like slid out, and oh my god, I found it, and I've been so paranoid cleaning right back, because like my room is right by the trash, like everybody seems to like put it there, so I have to clean it up. And oh my god, it was so disgusting. I kept seeing like a maggot or like something that looked like a maggot. I wasn't gonna like try to inspect and find out. I just like sprayed a bunch of bleach everywhere because I was so disgusted, and I fell asleep and I had dreams about maggots crawling on me and like getting into like my ears, and oh my god, it's so disgusting. And I know this is probably the dumbest shit you've ever heard, but I didn't know maggots were flies because I used to save flies. Like I used to like capture them and release them, and now I'm like, oh dude, I know what you're trying to do to the food. And it only takes 24 hours for them to lay their eggs and have maggots in a spot. It's so disgusting. I never knew that. I'm so grossed out. And my mom was trying to like, what's it called? Like calm me down and be like, oh, they're clean maggots. They're not the nasty ones. They're just the food ones. But I couldn't calm down. I almost went, but that would have been such a bad idea. These cars are coming in too fast. I'm just gonna go now. Woo. So, yeah. I'm disgusted. But yeah, that's all I really have to say today. Face is looking pretty shitty still. I don't know what to do anymore. But yeah, I'm off to see sand. This way. This guy's on the way. I think I'm going way too fast. Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna move this way. I'm so nervous. I hate driving. I'm so paranoid of getting into an accident. It's way too sunny. It's 82 degrees. I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm sorry. So I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for answering my FaceTime. Bye.